Okay, I just did line 1, now it's time for line 2. I want a dance explanation video for part 1. So it's the entrance up to I want to dance. So we are the line that starts on the right side of the room, and we travel across the stage to the left, and we're going to end up in a V. So the first step, they're going to go first. The line 1 is going to go first with the vocals, and we're going to follow with the drums. So the structure of this song is such that the beginning has vocals, the drum echoes with exactly what the vocals said, and it repeats like that. And they get shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter until we're at the same time. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to follow that. So they are group 1, line 1, they're going with the vocals. We're going to follow with the music. We're doing the same exact moves that they are. We're doing them mirrored, and we're going after them. So here is what we're going to do. They're going to come across the stage. They're going to be in a diagonal line, so they're half of the V across the stage. I totally lied to you. This is their side of the V across the stage. So at some point, we're going to have to travel through them to get to our position. If we're up towards the front, it's right away. If you're in the back, it's a little later on, right? So they are going to turn their bodies flat. They're going to be standing at a 45-degree angle, but they're going to turn their upper bodies flat so they don't whack you when you move through, okay? So here's what we're going to do. The first thing, I'm just going to do feet. It's step with your left foot or your back foot, front foot. Then we're going to do a 3-point turn to the back of the room. We're going over our left shoulder. 3-point turn. Our right foot is free, so we're going to take a step across with that. Then our left foot, and then we're going to pose. Okay? So let's add arms to that. We have standard belly dance arms for our 1, 2. They're going to come in and go back out for our 3-point turn. 3-point turn. When we go step with right, step with left, there is a right snake arm with the right and a left snake arm with the left. Snake arm, pose with neutral arms. Then we're going to immediately go into a shoulder shimmy, and then what I call like it's like a cherry on top, and we'll address that in a moment. But it's shoulder shimmy, I do a slight plie with it, and then so bark. What was bark? The drum, sorry, not her vocals, the drum goes back. So the concept is I want our chest to go down on that back, but we don't want to cave. It's going to be a thunk, like a bounce off the bottom. So we hit low and then we come back to neutral. So what that looks like, just like that, if we start at neutral, low neutral, it's like bunk, bunk, dunk. So to make that more dramatic, we want to end up lifted in order to drop. Make that drop really dramatic. So how do we do that? Well, I like to add a little bit of plie with my shoulder shimmy to make it even more dramatic. And then we're going to do kind of this half or part of a reverse undulation. So we're going to cave our chest in and end up with it lifted. Then we're going to drop and come back up. So all together, we have our shoulder shimmy with a plie, lift, up. So it can be a little weird to get the hold of. Where I want you to put the emphasis and really work on first is 2 things. Hitting that down when the drum goes back, hitting that down, and then allowing yourself to come back to neutral. So hitting it on the beat, the down on the beat, and allowing yourself to come back up to neutral, not stay down. I think a lot of people are focusing on trying to do this reverse undulation part, and it's putting too much stress on this as a move and not enough on we're just lifting to go boink. So I want you to think about timing and not leaving it caved first. Get that nailed down, and then you can work on your lifting to do it. Okay? So that is the end of that first stanza. So let's walk through it. We've talked about enough. And before I walk through it, I want to give you a few artistic notes. So one of them is when we're talking about our stepping, just like walking. I'm gonna go from there to this side. It's the other side for you, but this is just easier for the camera to see. So we can walk like this. I mean, we're belly dancers, so we're gonna do it prettier, right? We can do that. But what if I did this? I personally think the second one is a little prettier. So what's the difference is their toe leads. So if you've done ballroom, Latin, ballet, maybe jazz, no, I've never done jazz, they talk about toe leads. So basically the first thing that hits the ground is your toe, whereas normal walking is like we'll walk with our heels, right? The first thing that hits the ground is your toe. So there's a few pieces that we need in order to make that work and make it look nice. The first one is obviously landing on your toe first. But if you're gonna walk like normal and then land on your toe, you're gonna look like a horse. So how do we fix that? Well, we do a little turnout. That way, when we are bending our knee in order to get our toe to be the first thing to hit the ground, rather than going straight up, it actually allows us to pull it in towards the center. So for reference, if I were just gonna go straight up with my knees in the angle that they're at, it would look like this. But since we have a turnout, we now have the ability to lift our knee towards the center. So we lift our knee towards the center. Well, there's one more component to it, because if we just did that, it would look like this. And that still looks a little ugly. The third thing is like a runway model's walk with one foot in front of the other. That's what we're gonna do. So let me find the board here. We're gonna have our turnout and our toe lead. We walk one foot in front of the other. It also keeps like a really nice kind of closed line there. So yeah, that's your three components to a toe lead. There's nothing wrong with a heel lead, but if you want to spice it up a little more, clean things up, make them nice and tidy, that's a nice option to add to your repertoire. So don't worry about it until you have the steps down, but that's a part you can think about. The second artistic note here is the music has a bit of an echo. So the drum goes doo, and so do the vocals in this part. So the music never really stops. It kind of hits and then it like fades, there's a little bit there. So similar to how when we do veil, we have your veil and it never stops moving, it never stops moving, it never stops moving. We want everything to flow into each other. Similar for this part. So when we, how should I explain this? Some ways that you can make it flow without adding movements are your arms can move slowly, and moves can go from the top of your arm all the way to the end. You can also move your body slowly. So if I take a step, I can keep my step going by moving very, very slowly in that direction. So what does this look like when we have our thing, our entrance, our thing? Well, as we're walking, we can make sure our steps take up the full time before the next step starts. Another place I like to do it is when we get into our pose before we shoulder shimmy, I let my arms take their time. So what that looks like is ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba, dum, dum, da. My wrists keep moving until we start the shoulder shimmy. Da. Then I freeze because it's time for the other line to go. But if you can keep it nice and fluid, it helps go with the music in this case. Again, that's a late thing. Get the steps first. You know, stop moving if that helps you learn the steps. But if you're really feeling solid in those, try and add a little bit of flair. So, what does all of that look like? Let's go. We have back foot, front foot, 3-point turn, snake arm pose, shoulder shimmy, dunk. Okay, now the other line is gonna do their thing and we're gonna copy them. I'm gonna do it right in the middle of the floor here to make it easier for you to see, but you're gonna be, wherever you end up in your diagonal. That brings me to another point. Our ending of this entrance, our goal is to make a big V. So the line 1 will have already come through and made the right side of the V. We are coming through to make the left side of the V. So I put my long-legged girls up front so they can take big steps and get all the way to the opposite corner. Shorter-legged ladies like myself, we're in the back and we have to go less space. Maybe it's right here, right into the center. A little off center because you're sharing center with your line 1 partner. So I purposely put those last two things in your entrance across the floor are 2 steps. They can be big steps, they can be little steps. Use those steps when you come out of your turn, see where you are compared to the person in front of you, because you can't see behind you. gotta trust the person behind you. See where you are in terms of the person in front of you, and meter your steps so that you end up where you need to be in the beat. So, just something to keep in mind. But I'm gonna stand right in the middle of the room here to do it, because these are out. So, the next thing we're gonna do, our bodies are at a 45-degree angle out to the audience. And we are going to move our front hip, our right hip, and it's gonna, we can think about it in a few different ways. It's gonna make this motion. Bonk, bonk, swoop, swoop to neutral. You can think of it like an M, like an M&M, like one arch. Two arch, but the arch doesn't stop, it just keeps going and it goes in a figure eight. Or you can think of it as one arch, and then a figure eight with a really big intro. Big intro, figure eight. However you think about it, those are the mechanics. So it looks like this. We have one hop, hop, scoop, scoop, neutral. The farther you start flat to the audience, the farther this right hip starts back, the more room you're going to have to do your moves, because each move takes you across to the left. Not physically, we're not traveling, but it travels across the front of your body in that way. So we have hop, hop, scoop, scoop, neutral. Immediately after that, our weight is going to be on our back foot, that's our left foot, and we're going to go immediately into a lateral hip circle. It's going to be a full 360 lateral hip circle, and our weight is going to end up back in our left leg fully. And we're going to use that move to turn us about a quarter to face the front. So it's going to look like this. We just did hop, hop, scoop, scoop. We're going to do full 360 here. Our arms during that come down and frame our hips. So we're going to do another move after this, but it's really, really important that your weight is in your left hip. Usually when we have our weight in one hip, it's because we're going to lift or we're going to step onto that loose, open leg, whatever you want to call it, free foot. In this case, we're actually going to go down first. So in order to do that, you need to make sure that you're not even at a neutral. This oblique is actually lifted just a little bit. We don't want it lifted. I mean, you never want to do that in belly dance. It's not a fire hydrant. But we want it pulled under. I call it scrunched. It's scrunched under our bodies like this. And it's just ready to move. And this, don't forget the knee bend in your left leg. Keep that knee bent. It's gonna give you more room to move. So we had our turn to the front. This hip is a little crunched. We're gonna immediately do 3 drops. They're piston hips or hip drops. We'll get to that in a second. Inside, outside, inside, which for us is right, left, right. Inside, outside, inside. Our framing hands follow our hips. Inside, outside, inside. Let's talk about a piston hip. So, this move can either be a piston hip or a hip drop. If anything hurts your back, please just do hip drops. We all know them, and it's gonna look just as good and just as dramatic, especially if we follow with those hands, right? So if piston hips are just like evading you or they hurt your back or anything like that, just do hip drops. So what is a piston hip? I like to think about a piston hip as almost a little combination of a drop and a slide. The slide, they happen at the same time, so the slide ends up being diagonally down. You can think about your hip drops. They take place in this tube, right? Especially for me, I have no hips. They take place in this tube. So when we're doing our hip lifts and drops, it's almost like we're rotating around a pole through here, right? Like, doo, 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 doo. Nothing else moves. We're rotating inside this tube. When we do a piston hip, our hip actually comes outside the tube a little bit. So here's our tube, piston hip. See, it actually comes outside of the tube, but this part of my body is not moving. I'm not, compensating by going this way. I'm not leaning over, I don't know, but this part stays, and pretty much like the bottom of your leg stay too. It's just that hip is escaping out of that tube. So make the tube, escapes out of the tube, escapes out of the tube, escapes out of the tube. So it's a bit of a slide and drop. You're dropping diagonally down, but keeping that center line of your body. So that might hurt your back. If that's the case, drops are perfectly fine. I would also recommend anyone who's struggling to get this to just do drops until your body is very confident that you are going inside, outside, inside, very confident with that weight distribution once you finish your turn. Sorry, not your turn, your hip circle. because the most important thing about this move is that everyone is on the same side and doing the same thing. So start out with your hip drops, throw in fists and hips if you can. If not, hip drops are perfect. So we came to the front, we did in, out, in. And then we're staying there because the other side's gonna go. But let's show all that together, that little section. So we just finished our shoulder shimmy drop, the other line went, now we're gonna go hop, hop, scoop, scoop, circle, in, out, in. Okay? The other line is gonna do their thing first, and then we're going to follow. We are going to do a 3/4 shimmy, but just one of them, with our hips while we slide to the outside, to the left side, and our hands are gonna follow. So we're gonna go to the outside, we're gonna do it back to the inside, we're gonna go outside, inside. So left, right, left, right. So we have left, right, left, right. Then we're going to roll up. There's really time mostly to do this part of your body, but if your body really wants to, or you have time, or you can do it and you can throw in the whole thing, go for it. It's just not a super dramatic, like, it's like, and we're shoulder shimmy while we're doing that. So it looks like to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, shoulder shimmy up. We are not ending lifted, we're ending neutral. There's no drop at the end, it's just shoulder shimmy to neutral. You can also think of it about shoulder shimmy like leaning back. It's like I kind of lean back a little. And if you want to throw in, like when you get to the top, like toss your head up, like now we're at the top. Go for it. I think I do that. It's a fun little artistic thing, but not needed if that's not how you feel. So all together, we have to the outside, to the inside, outside, inside, shoulder shimmy up. Okay. And the other side goes. And then we're gonna do that swirly, swirly thing again, but this time it's gonna be with our left hip, our outside hip, and we're gonna use the 2 hops at the beginning to turn our bodies a 45-degree angle towards the other line. So again, we have our hop, hop, scoop, scoop to neutral. We're gonna do that, right? So we just ended here. We have our hop, hop. See, it took me 45 degrees. There is no pause here, I just wanted to show you the turn. Hop, hop, scoop, scoop, neutral. Then they're gonna do something. Then we're gonna mirror. We are going to cross our outside, our left leg over, do a full 360, and then we're gonna go chest up, down, up. And we're gonna leave it raised. So they happen one right after the other. Let's talk about the spin. So I recommend doing spin the same way all the time because Deb recommends that, and Deb is often right. But I agree with her, it really helps. Because this spin is quick, and it's a little hard not to be wobbly with it. So the way that I do this spin, I'll teach you the way that, there's like a good way to do it, and then I am doing a little bit of a fix to that, and I'll show you that too. Not a fix, it's just a different, slightly different one. So, okay, we're doing left foot over. We're at a 45-degree angle, but for the purpose of the explanation, I'm just gonna face forwards. First of all, the basic tenets of this spin are that you're crossing and unwinding. You're crossing your legs, twist them, and then you're unwinding your legs, and that takes your body around in a circle. The farther you put that leg out, the stance you're gonna end up in is really ugly. I'm falling over. If you can tuck that leg in nice and close, not so close that you're falling over and tipping, but if you can tuck it in nice and close, you can have a nice tight ending foot pose. So, if your body allows you to do this, it helps to tuck that foot back as far as you can. If your body doesn't allow you to do that, and you're just here like flat-footed, that will also work. But it'll be easier and require less adjustment at the end if you can tuck it back. But it requires some hip flexibility, so just do what you can. So, we cross with our outside, our left foot. The first thing we do is we're gonna drive that left hip into the ground. Heel into the ground. Left heel goes to the ground. As that happens, our right toe is gonna lift up. Our right foot is going to lift up on its toe. So we drive that left heel down, the right foot comes up on its toe. And then we're gonna be rotating on our right toe and our left heel. So we're gonna unwind in this way. It sounds really ugly when you're not doing it quickly and there's not music playing. So we're here. What you can do next is put, since we're not fully rotated, wherever you end up, you might end up like here, not fully rotated. Put that right heel down, switch your heel toe, put that right heel down, pick the toe up, put that left toe down, pick the heel up. Then you can finish your rotation. So you're gonna find that you need more of that finish rotation heel toe switch if you're flat-footed here. You'll need less of it the more you can get your foot back like that. So if we're totally flat-footed, we're gonna do that left heel to the ground, right toe up, left heel to the ground, up on the right toe. Over here, can't turn anymore, we're gonna switch. Ta-da. I mentioned I do a slight variation to that, and because I can tuck my leg really far back like this, I end up being on my right toe the entire time. I never fully switch. I'll switch my left foot if I need to, but not my right. So this is what that looks like. I drive the heel to the ground, which also helps me start the rotation. I go up on the right toe. So the heel comes to the ground. I don't know if you can see that, but my left foot switched heel toe, but my right foot never left its toe. That's really only doable because I can go that far back. So, whatever feels right for your body, just try the heel toe thing, and that will help you keep your balance. Let's go over what that looked like again. We're here, we came in, up, down, up. So we freeze in that up position. The other line is gonna go quickly. This part's really quick. So we're gonna do a three-quarter, we're gonna do a three-quarter again, but it's gonna be with a full weight shift. So our left outside, left leg is going to pick up and we're gonna fully shift our weight with the three-quarter. So, da-da-da. This arm is gonna come and swoop, point to the outside. So we were up, we have da-da-da, then they go, then it's back to us, da-da-da, they go back to us, da-da-da, da-da-da. So that's really fast. It's like out, out, in, out, in, really fast back and forth. 4 motions total, I guess, out, in, out, in. Now, immediately after that, right after we go back in, the drum and the vocals start going together. So we're gonna do this together. We are, from this point on, no longer mirroring each other. We are doing the same exact thing. We have, once you go in, I want you to lock up your abs, lock up those legs, because we're gonna have a very quick upper body tipping. It's gonna be a shoulder shimmy, and although the last thing we did was pretty much facing forward, we're gonna do this directionally towards the other side. We're going back and forth like, hey, hey, at each other. So we just did our da-da-da. We're gonna immediately pick up this other hand and go right into shoulder shimmies. There's 6 back and forth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you really gotta lock that core in those legs so that we're not like noodling around. We gotta be really sharp, but our ha, 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 ha. So we go towards them, away from them, towards them, away, towards, away. They are going to be going away, towards, away, towards, away. So we're gonna be doing this. Once we have those 6, immediately right after we're ending away, we are going to switch to this pose. Our arms are going to come in, and then we're going to come up to this. We're at a 45-degree angle to the audience, ready to do some drop kicks. Want to make sure we're in this. Our arm needs to be down instead of out because we don't want to block the people behind us. So once we're here, again, all doing this together, all on the same side, we have 6 drop kicks. Let me backtrack a little bit and walk through what I just talked through. So we were up, down, up. We had out, in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to this pose. 6 drop kicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After the 6th kick, your heel is going to go to your butt instead of going down to the floor. and then you're gonna do the kick. So when you bring your heel up to your butt, as far as you can, your hip is going to raise because it's just like when you do a drop kick, we do raise that hip a little bit to pull this foot back in. Except our foot's not going to the ground, it's going up. That's the only difference. Drop, kick, lift, kick. Immediately after that, we're gonna do what's called a rond de jambe. It's a ballet term, it's French. I think it means round of the leg. Jambe is leg in French, so. Rond de jambe. Which basically means after our kick, our leg goes around and takes us to this position, just the other side. So I'll do the arms. We just had 5, 6, kick, and rond de jambe. Arms go here. Here, we have more drop kicks. We have 5 of them, 5 full ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we do this thing. What is that thing? After our kick, we are going to bring our foot up. Our weight comes up. Okay, sorry. This is something I just kind of like did and then broke it down and explained it actually during class. Sorry to those who had to put up with it. So we're gonna try to explain it to the best of our abilities. What happens in the music is she goes, da da da, stop. So we want this building up to this stop. So the mechanics of it are after our kick, we bring it up, we land, and our weight shifts forward. She does go tech. There's a tech that we land on. It's the last vocalization drum before the stop. So you'll be able to see it in the demo video that I do. But we really want this weight to come back and then ha. So what we're gonna do is after our kick, our foot comes in and our arms come in and we turn away. This is a strange pose, I know. We are going to send that foot out, step on it, and then turn and throw that hand out. So feet, bop, 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 bop. Your foot is kind of just like parallel to the front, mine ends up that way. So hopefully that made sense. The arms will come in from here, they'll come in, and then they shoot out where your body turns. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ha, tick. Then, after that, there's a pause. We all just stand there, being like, stop. And then she goes, I wanna dance. And whatever you feel, we're going to lip sync. I think I forgot in the last video, lip sync. I wanna dance with her and do whatever we feel like doing. Be as loud and as exaggerated and personality filled as you want. I want all our different personalities to shine. I think it's gonna be really fun. We come to audience, we're like, ha, and then we're all crazy. So, the only caveat that I have for that is the next section, which we're not gonna go over in this video, but the next thing is a transition step to get to our next formation, and it is a shoulder shimmy with a grapevine. So we are all going in different directions, but we're gonna do the same steps so that we're cohesive. So the steps meaning we're all gonna step out first, and then honestly, I don't mind back or front, whichever one you wanna do, but we're all gonna step out first. What that means is that you have to have that leg free to step out immediately after your I wanna dance. So if we're here and I'm gonna have to step this way, I better pull my weight back to say I wanna dance so that I can step that way. If I'm going the other way, I can step here in front, or I can even bring my foot in and do whatever I want so I can step this way. So I just emailed everyone their formation so you know which direction that you're gonna go in. Just make sure that foot is free with whatever you choose to do. And your like, I wanna dance can change every single time. I don't care what you do. I mean, I care. I don't mind whatever you wanna do. I just want it to be like you. If your personality is quiet, you can do a little quiet thing. If personality is big, you can be like, whatever you wanna do. So let's walk through the, my brain just went blank. Let's walk through what we did for on like the shoulder shimmies. So we just did our up, down, up. We get out, in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kick up, round de jambe, switch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kick and step. I wanna dance. Okay, let's walk through it, the whole thing, without music, so you can see what it looks like, and then you can check out the demo. So, we're starting over here. I'm gonna take little bitty steps so I end up in the middle again instead of way over there in the corner. We have back, front, 3-point turn, take arms, pause, shimmy, dunk, they do their thing, then we have da 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 da, doom doom doom, they do theirs, do 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 tick tack, they do theirs, da 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 da, there you go, doom 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 doom, da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kick, round de jambe, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kick and ha! I wanna dance. Okay, I'm tired. Go check out the demo video and ask me if you have any questions.